Hello everyone, welcome to the session number 3 hosted by Athavir. This session is all about getting started with UI UX design. Now I would like to welcome you all to the world of design. I know that you are pretty excited to get started with UI UX design. Now without wasting any further ado, let's get started. What is UI UX design is one of the top skills of 2020. It's trending on par with artificial intelligence and machine learning. It falls into this category called as new age skills, which means anyone could learn it, but if they have to put some time into it. So this is UI UX design. In this session, we are going to cover a design process overview and a quick introduction to Figma, a UI design software. So what is UI UX design? UI means user interface and UX means user experience. Okay, this was like a full form for the abbreviation, but what really is UI UX design? So for this, I'm going to give you a small example. Now let's consider a company has a product like a blue color chair. See, now as a UX designer, your job is to make sure that users are going to have a great experience with your product. He's going to think how the chair will feel. He is looking at to provide an experience to a user. So as a UX designer, you need to think like what kind of foam to use in, what kind of texture should I use in, how sturdy should be my chair. So he will be looking at that aspect. That thing is being done by a UX designer. As a UI designer, your job is to showcase how good the chair will look like. Like nobody's going to buy a rusty old chair, right? Like everyone is going to buy a chair which is visually appealing. So he's the one who is looking after the looks of the chair. Like what is the color of the textile that he need to use and whether the texture should be seamless or not. So that is the job of a UI designer. Now, along with UI and UX, if you're looking at to monetize the chair or you want to make some profit out of it, that job goes to a product designer. Now we have cleared three things, that is UI design, UX designer and a product designer. Now, the question is is design is always about making things visually good? The answer is yes and no. Yes, because yes, making it visually appealing is one of the most important factors, but it is not the only factor. Design is about solving problems. Design is a huge thing. It's not only about making things look good, it is about solving users' problems. UI and UX design is always about solving users' problems. Okay, now what sort of a problem does a UI or a UX designer solve? For that, let me take one more example. The example is a nutrition tracking app. Now let's say a company asks you to design an app which tracks the nutrition or the diet plan of a user. Okay, so now this is your problem statement. That is to design a nutrition tracking app which tracks what kind of nutrients is being taken by the user. So that is your problem statement. So the solution for this, you have to give a solution in a design perspective. You need to make great experiences. So how to introduce yourself to the problem space and how to arrive at a solution. So there is some process in between. That process is called as a design process. A design process is nothing but it states how to approach a problem and to arrive at the solution. It is a design process is nothing but it is a process which states how to approach a problem and to arrive at the solution. So there are 6 steps involved in the design process. One is research, information architecture, wireframe, visual design, prototyping, and developer handoff. Way many people think that, if a company asks you, to design a software, you will just go sit and use some design software like Figma and then start right away designing it. No, there are background works which you need to follow in order to give a great design. So these are all the steps that you need to follow. So now the first step is research. Now I gave an example of a nutrition tracking app. So what kind of a research should you do as a designer? So first thing, a nutrition tracking app is your problem statement. So you need to think that for every problem, there will be a solution which has been attempted way before than you have. So your job is to look out for those competitor products. Like if your job is to design a nutrition tracking app, so you need to go to Google or App Store and then search for nutrition tracking app, and then you need to download all those things, download all those apps and take screenshots of it, so that you will get some kind of an idea of what should I design. And you should also read the reviews below it, so that you will get some kind of an idea of what and all functionalities that does the user want in the app. So you could also do something called as a field testing. That is, you could go to real users and talk to them about whatever features these do these users want in the app, so that you'll get some kind of an idea. So this is just to setting up a base or a ground, right? So this is just to get that niche of information, that is what kind of features should you provide as a designer in your app, that is your nutrition tracking app in this case. So this is all about research. Research is all about like getting up all the information, all the required information. Okay, so now we have all the required information, but how to present it in an app? That phase is called as information architecture. So that you are going to tackle in the second phase called as information architecture. So now you have all the data that is required for you to implement in your design. But how to implement? The first step is to create a user flow. Like for example, in this case of a nutrition tracking app, the first step will be, to splash screen will come, then you will get into onboarding, like explaining what the app contains. See, it will be onboarding. Then you might think about like setting the goals, like what is the goal of the app, like whether is it to provide an like what is the goal of the user, like whether he wants to maintain his physique or not, so something like that. So this will be your navigation, this will be a user flow. So you need to think in such a way that how to create a best user flow, like what in the screens should appear. Here in this phase, this is all about structuring your information. This is about including all the information that you have collected in your research phase, that you are going to include in the information architecture phase. Now you have both, that is how to include the information and how to structure it out. Now, till now you have not yet started how it will be presented in the app. So that will be done in the third phase. The third phase is all about wireframes. Wireframes is nothing but it is the first step towards your visualization. That means you have all the information from the research and you know how to include it, but you don't know like how to include it on the screen. Here you have suggested that onboarding will come and then like setting up the goals. But for onboarding, what and all elements should be placed, that you are going to decide in wireframe stage. For example, for the onboarding, here you can see in the picture, like on top there will be one status bar, and then there will be some kind of an illustration explaining what and all this app does, and there will be some sign up and sign in screen. So terms and conditions. So wireframes is the first step towards your visualization. That means it is the first step in developing an app. So after research and information architecture, wireframe is the most important thing. And there are two types of wireframes that you could do. One is low fidelity wireframes or high fidelity wireframes. Low fidelity wireframes or low-fi wireframes are just making this rough sketch on a piece of paper. High fidelity wireframes are those which are done using a software like Figma. So now, if you have a crunch of time and you want to start up really very fast, what you could do is you could just skip the high fidelity wireframe. Why? Because you see the low-fi wireframe takes about like 2 to 3 minutes to create a wireframe on a piece of paper, but the same thing could take 6 to 7 minutes or like 10 minutes to create on a UI design software like Figma. So design is not about getting the right solution at the first time. It is about getting the right solution after many attempts. That means you have to iterate a lot. For iteration, time is really very important because you'll get discouraged very easily. So if you go with paper, you could iterate a lot. Like you could try out way different designs. Like, okay, like how about like illustration will be on the left side and text will be on the right side. How about I give a whole full image, so that you could try out different possibilities. That is why wireframing stage is the first very important stage before you go and sit in a UI design software like Figma or something. So wireframe stage. So after wireframe stage, you have your wireframes. You have like a basic idea, like a rough sketch, like a 60% of visualization of the app is done here. Next step is about visual design. Visual design is like one of the excited parts here. That means visual design is nothing but converting those wireframes, those rough sketches into beautiful screens. This will give you an 85% of the look of the feel of the app. So this could be done with softwares like Figma, once again, Adobe XD, and you could also use something called as a Sketch as an app. So here, till now, you have not even considered design things like typography, color, spacing. Till now, you are just considering how to put those information. In this visual design stage, now you are going to include, like, you are going to think about things like typography, what kind of font should I use, what kind of what kind of color should I use, how much should be the spacing. So this should be your thinking now. So after this visual design stage, then what you're going to do is, before giving it to a developer, you have to test it, right? You have to test how accessible is the button, how how the whole UI looks. So that is being done using called as a prototype. Prototype is nothing but a model resembling a finished product. That means it will give almost like 90% of the feel of the app, but it will not work like it is like after development it will be 100%. So it will give a feel of the app. That means how the buttons are accessible. So it is particularly used for testing purposes. So after this prototype, after you have iterated a lot and you have come up with a design solution, the last step is just sitting with your developer and sharing the file. That means it is dev handoff. It is like sitting with your developer and saying what and all things you have done, how did you take this design decisions, and you're going to share the file. Like for example, you're going to share the Figma file with the view access. By the way, you could share files in Figma only. So now what a developer will do is that he is going to click on every asset so that he is going to get values like this, like what is the width of it, what is the height of it, like what kind of a constraints that he need to use, and what kind of font is being used, what kind of colors is being used. So Figma and all will provide the required information for a developer to just replicate all those designs in the front end. So as a designer, you need to sit with front end engineers and also back end engineers so that your design is being processed into a finished product. So now you might think like after research, after information architecture, after visual design, after prototyping, you can always come back to research stage. Like for example, like while you're in visual design, if you think like, oh man, I think I wanted some kind of an information, I just missed it. So you could always come back to the research stage and then jump back to visual design. That means it is a iterative model. You could always loop back to the process. That is how startups produce, version 1.0, version 2.0, version 3.0. So that is how they produce such beautifully designed apps, and you might think like all this design process is just time waste, man. Like why do you want it? The reason is at start you will have like way many possibilities on how to design a product. But if you jump straight into visual design, you will be just lost in all the options. Like you will be trying out all the options, and then you'll be like, I'll just settle down to a mediocre option. So you don't want to happen. So for that, you're going to use some this design process so that it will so that it is going to filter out all the options, and then you're going to give your best design for a product. That means at start you will have various many options. After research, IA, all those filtering will happen, and after the visual design process, after prototyping and all, then you're going to get a sweet product with all nice features and nice design. So till now I've said everything like research, information architecture. Wireframing could also be done in Figma. So Figma is like L'Oreal Palace, like 5 problems, 1 solution. So Figma is like you could do all these things in a one software. Now I didn't even introduce you to Figma. Figma is a multi-platform software. It supports Windows, Mac, and Linux. Figma is like it is free for personal use, and it also has a pro plan. It is for teams, but for starting out, it's like it does have a free plan. So way back they used to use Photoshop for UI design, but Photoshop is like it's way much powerful, and for UI design and all you need just a slice of it. That slice is being provided by Figma very beautifully, and it is really very easy to learn. If you know Photoshop, Figma is nothing. Figma is really very easy to learn. And I said other competitive products like Adobe XD and Sketch, but Sketch and all, they are like only Mac only, and they have like something like $50 for license. So it's not advisable to use Sketch if you're starting it out. Adobe XD is free and Figma is also free. But why Figma? Figma, Adobe XD and all are file based. That means you can't collaborate. That means like you are a designer and you are with a team of designers. So now if other guy need to edit the components in your design, what you need to do is you need to send it via email, and then he could download it and he should edit it. But Figma is account based. That means it is just like a drive link, just sending a link sharing option and then sending those links to your design, so that all the designers in your team can work on the same file at the same time. That team collaboration is a very powerful thing, and that is why we at Atharvad also, we're doing posters and all in Photoshop. Now we have moved all our operations from Photoshop and all to Figma because it is that easy. And nevertheless, even if your company wants you to work with Adobe XD or Sketch, it's really easy to switch because all this Figma, Adobe XD and Sketch all have the same learning curve and it's really very easy. So now, topping it off, today I'm going to introduce you to this software, and it is an industry relevant software. So let's start with Figma. Hey guys, now I'm going to introduce you, as I said, to the software, a UI design software called as Figma. So now when you open up Figma for the first time, this is the screen that is going to pop up. Like this here, this is your login information. This is your recently viewed. And here the main two important things are here import button and a plus button. Import is like importing a Figma file. Like if you have downloaded any UI kits or something like that, it will have a extension called as .fig. So all those files, you're going to import it from import button. And then if you want to create a new file, just press plus on the button so that it will create a new file like this. Now, here you can see here the gray area. The gray area is the canvas area. Like it is a free empty canvas. So what you should do is, now for this session, I'm going to make sure that I will keep it really very simple. So I'm planning to design a sign up screen for a hypothetical app. Let's name it Pixel Shoot. Okay. Because I have already created logo and all, so I'll just design an app for Pixel Shoot. So okay, so now Pixel Shoot is an Android app. So that for an Android app, I need a screen to work on with. So that screen is been provided by the frame tool, or else you could press F on your keyboard. See here, this is the frame tool, frame. Okay. So by default, you there are like certain presets like for phone, tablet, desktop, watch, paper, social media, Figma community. Like these are like presets, artboard sizes, which you can use, upon which you can design. Okay, now since I'm designing an Android screen, I'm just going to pick Android. Okay, and there was some numbers right here, like 360 cross 640. This means this is 360 pixels in width and 640 pixels in height. Okay, that means in design, you're going to measure everything in terms of pixels. So it is 360 pixels in width and 640 pixels in height. So anytime you're opening a new file, you need to always rename it. You need to always rename it. So in order to rename, just double click on this untitled and then write basics of Figma. And we should name it basics of Figma. This is very important if you are into team collaboration. Okay, so this is your file, and you can also rename a frame by double clicking on the name of the frame and then changing it to sign up. Okay, cool. Now you can see here three tabs. There is design, prototype, and code. We are not touching prototype and code because prototype is used when you're doing the prototyping thing, and code is into the developer handoff. But since we are just working with visual design, we are just going to keep this tab open, that is design. Now, if you don't click on anything, you are going to see this background. This is just a canvas background color. See, really very simple. So okay. So now, how did I pan here? This is by clicking on the middle mouse button. So I'll just click on my middle mouse button. I will get this hand tool. Or else what you could do, you can also press H on your keyboard to get this hand tool. Okay. Now for a sign up app, I need a company logo. So I will just import it to this file. So what I will do, I'll go here to the search menu, and here we have a file and place image. I'm going to, or you could use the hotkey Control Shift key. place image, and then I'm going to place this icon. Okay, now it's big, so I'm going to resize it. For resizing, use, go to any of the corners of the image and hold shift on your keyboard. Shift because you are resizing it with proportions. Holding shift on my keyboard, I just resize it. Okay, and then I'm going to move it in the center. Now you could see the red lines here, right? These red lines are just alignment tools, alignment guidelines, which will just help you to know where is the center of your frame so that you could keep all the assets in the center. Or else you could also use these alignment options given on the top. This is align left, align horizontal center, align right. So since I want the logo to be in center, I just use this, align horizontal centers. Cool. Okay. I'll just resize it. Yeah. And now if I click on this and press Alt on my keyboard or Alt outside the asset, I'm going to get the distance of that asset from the frame, that is in pixels. See, now it is 129. Now, if you start designing, you need to think in such a way that you are going to keep spacing in multiple of some number. This is really very important to maintain consistency. Consistency is the most important aspect when you are designing any sort of screen. So now I'm going to click Alt on my keyboard, and then I'm going to keep spacing in multiple of 4. So let's say, let's give it something like 80 or even 88 would look good. Yeah, 88 looks good. Okay, so now we have our company logo. Then we need some kind of a text, right? That text, you could write it by using your type tool or a text tool or pressing T on your keyboard. Just press this and press on my frame, and I'm going to write like, I could write like welcome to Pixel Shoot or sign up to Pixel Shoot. Now this text, what you're writing is called as microcopy. This microcopy, copywriting is one of the most very important aspect of any design. So copywriting and all, you are going to take in, you're going to decide all this microcopy when you're in the information architecture stage or in the wireframing stage, like I showed you like before, right? Like writing it on paper. This is why design process is really very important. Otherwise, you'll get stuck. You'll get so many ideas. Like how can I put, like if I put welcome or sign up or something like that. So I'll write here sign up to Pixel Shoot. Okay, I'll write sign up to Pixel Shoot. And now it's too small, so we need to stylize it. I'll just zoom in. For zooming, you could just hold Control and scroll button, like Control scroll button up, you just zoom in, and Control scroll button back, we zoom out. Just zoom in. And then this is not looking good. So here in the design tab, you can just come below. There are like text styling options. So by default, Figma has all the Google fonts pre-installed. That means you could use Google fonts are those fonts which are like free for commercial purposes. So I'm going to change Roboto to one of my favorite fonts, Bully. And I'm going, this is typeface. This is the weight of the font. I'm going to change this from regular to extra bold. Okay, this looks good. And I'm going to change this to, let's say 24, look good. I'm going to zoom out and look how it matches. Okay. And now it is left aligned. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this alignment tabs and I'm going to center align it. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So now I want this text to be in the center of the frame. So I'm going to use this alignment tab and keep it in center. Just bump up this font size to 28 and maintain the spacing in some multiple of 4. You know the drill. So I'm going to just give it some 100 pixels. Cool. Okay, 100 is too much. I'll keep it at 80. Okay, 80 looks good. Yeah, 80 looks good. Okay, so now sign up to Pixel Shoot. Now, what and all sign up options you're going to give as a designer? One thing you could give is social media button, like sign up with Google, sign up with Facebook, sign up with Apple ID, or you could give a generic like email and ID. I have decided to give both of the options. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give sign up with Google as well as email or password. So now to create a button, you're going to use something called as a shape tool. Now here we have under shape tools, we have rectangle, line, arrow, ellipse, etc. So button is a rectangle. So I'm going to click on this and just create a rectangle in the shape of a button. Figma works in layers. That means Figma is a layer-based tool. That means if I just drag it above and keep it, now see, the text is being hidden. This is because the layer is just a stack. That means here is your text upon which you have a rectangle. So if you want the text to be shown above the rectangle, you are just going to click on the text and then right click and bring forward. That's it. Or else what you could do, you could just drag it above. That's it. So that's the introduction to layers. So I want to just drag it down, give it a spacing of 40, let's say, and then increase its width to somewhere like 64 would look good. Yeah, 64. And then this is really sharp, right? The corners are really sharp. You don't want your UI design. I want this to be like a rounded. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this, and here I have X and Y. X and Y means it is the distance from the canvas, which is not at all required. Width and height, okay, it is 233. I'll just make it 232. And this is the angle which you don't want right now because a button is like at 0-degree angle. I want to choose this one, like corner radius. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to zoom in. And I have this option to like to drag it, but I could also type in here like 4. So yeah, this makes it rounded. Okay, this looks good. Now I want to change its color. So here there is fill option. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to click on that and then change its color to somewhere like light green or light blue. Light blue. Okay. I'm just going to pick it light blue. Now inside the button, I want some kind of a text like sign up to Google. So what can I do is I'll just take the type tool and then write sign up with Google. Okay, and then this is obviously very big. I'm just going to dial it down to bold and make it really small because it needs to fit inside the button. And then I'm going to change this color. I don't want this to be like dark black. I'm just going to change this color to somewhere like dark purple. And also by using the color picker tool here, I'm just going to zoom in and just pick this color so that the color matches. Cool. Yeah. So now I have signed up with Google. So I'll just place it inside using, okay. So now I also wanted to add a Google logo. So what I could do is I could just press Ctrl+Shift+K or even use this search button and file, place image. So I'll just use the hotkey for now, place this Google logo and then place it on top. It's too big. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to resize it. Like I'll just zoom out and holding Shift and Alt because I'm just resizing it from the center. Like this is the center. I want to resize it from the center. If you don't click Alt, it will be like this. If you click Alt, it will be resizing from the center. Okay, now it's very big. I'm just going to shorten this into like, let's say 20 by 20. I'm just going to type in here and then I'm going to zoom in and place it here. Cool. This is your sign up with Google. Now I want the text and the spacing between the text and the Google logo to be in multiple of 4 because I want to make consistency. What I'm going to do, I'm going to press Alt on my keyboard and then increase it. Let's say 12 will look good. And then what I could do is I will just group sign up with Google as well as the Google logo so that I could move it easily all together. So how to do grouping? Just click on the text, shift clicking on whatever you want to group with, and then press Ctrl+G on your keyboard. Or else what you could do, you could also right click. I'm going to show it now. Now I'm going to center line this, and by holding Shift on the rectangle, I'm going to horizontal line. Okay. Now I want this group to be grouped with this rectangle. So what I'm going to do, I'm selecting this group, shift clicking this rectangle, and then right clicking group selection, or also Ctrl+G as I told you earlier. So this will be our group. So naming your group is really very important because if you're working in a team, if you're working with collaboration, naming will definitely save a lot of time. So don't forget to name it. I'm just going to name it as sign up or Google sign up. Simple. Google sign up. Okay, so now we have sign up with Google. Okay. Now consider if a user will not have Google account, so what kind of sign up option will you give? You might give an email and password option, or also you might give some other social media account. So this decision and all you are going to take when you're in the research information architecture stage. This is why design process is really very important. This is where you think about all the edge cases. This is what they call it as. Edge cases means the cases which are like unique, which will not work. Okay, so I'm just going to make a field, that is text field. So I'm just going to select this group, press Alt on my keyboard to copy, or else you could do the normal Control C, Control V method. So I'm just going to press Alt on my keyboard, and then by Shift selecting, I'm just going to drag it below. Okay, drag it below and give it to 40. And I'm going to change this color because it's a text field, it's not a button. Make it into light gray. What say? Light gray is cool. Yeah. And I don't want this Google. I'll just remove it, and I'll just click this sign up with Google, and then I'll just shift. I'll just press Alt on my keyboard and then give it a spacing with multiple of 4. So I'll just give it a spacing with multiple of 4. I'll make it into 12, and then I'll just lower the size of it, and also change the text color to somewhat light gray, because it is hidden. Like when you click on it, that text will not be visible. Like that text will disappear. So I'll just make it into light gray, and then by holding Alt, I'll just turn it into 12, and I'm going to change this to email. So I could have done another thing, like I could have left aligned and done it. So I did not do it right now. Cool. So this is my email button. Now one more field is password button. So I'm just going to rename it. Renaming is really very important, guys. Don't forget to rename. So I'm going to press Alt on my keyboard, and then by holding Shift, I'm going to move it down, and it's going to be 8. Okay, and then I'm going to select the text and change it to password. Okay, now this looks cool. Like I have email and password. Now we want a button, right? A clickable button. Like after entering the email and password, you need a clickable button. Now let's quickly do it. I don't want it to be. I'll just change it to 11, I guess. That looks too big to me. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to center on this. Okay, now I want a button, right? So the easiest way is to just copy all the buttons that you did, because it's going to be the same width. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it 16, and then delete all this unwanted things, and then make it center aligned. Make it center aligned. Okay, and change. Okay, and change this to create a free account. This is microcopy once again. As I said, this is why design process is really very important, guys. It's like a disclaimer. Don't ever start with Figma right away. It's not a good thing. You need to start with the research, information architecture and stuff that I told you before. Okay, now this color obviously should change because it's a button. So I'm just going to give it some depth. Okay, and this has some contrast issues, right? So I'm just going to change this to white color. So yeah, it's too dark. Give a lighter shade. Cool. So you have your button ready. Now this is almost like 90% is over. The rest thing is just to putting terms and conditions and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to once again change this name, because name changing is really very important. So create a free account. Okay. Now I want terms and conditions, and I also want that or sign up with email, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to type it. Okay. I'm going to Control A, and I'm going to dial it down to regular. I'm going to make it into small thing. So I'm going to change the size because it's too much squishy here. Change it to 12, I guess. 12 will look good. Sign up with email. Now I want one more thing, that is to agree with terms and conditions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to increase it to 12. And then change this copy to by signing up. I agree to the terms and conditions. Okay. And I'm going to change this P to capital T and then C to capital C because okay. And then I'm going to center line this, change this to bold, and I don't want it to be too much highlighted, so I'll just de-emphasize it by lowering the color and giving it some gray color. And yeah, I also want terms and conditions to be clickable, to look clickable. So what I'll do, I'll just something like this, and I'm going to highlight this by darkening the color. This is all techniques of design, like how to give something like clickable, how to make it look clickable and all. So this is all techniques. So spoiler alert, we are all going to like explain all these things. Like there are much more into this, like only creating buttons and all. Figma is really far more powerful, but it's really easy to learn. Okay. One more thing, I want to add that line, like clickable line. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use something called as a pen tool, or I could, in the shape tools also, there are like line tools, but I want to introduce you to a new tool, that is pen tool. Pen tool is usually used to create illustrations. So, but in this case, since it is just a like introduction to Figma, I don't want to create illustrations. So I'll just do a simple line by clicking on here and shift clicking somewhere else and hitting done. So now you create a line. Now this is obviously not, I don't want it to be black. I'll just pick this color and then dial the stroke width to 0.5. Cool. And then check out this spacing. Spacing is really very important, guys. You need to maintain the consistent spacing wherever. I'll make it 525. I don't want 0.5 also. Yeah. Okay, now I'll just group this by signing up. I agree to the terms and conditions and that line. I could do that by selecting that and shift selecting the line and then pressing Ctrl G, and then I'll just rename it to terms and conditions. Okay. Cool. Now there is also one more case. Now this is almost complete. Like sign up screen is almost complete. One more case is there. That is, I'll just rearrange this. There is also one more condition. That is, what if the user has accidentally come up to sign up page? So he should also like have a button to go into sign in page, right? Those are all the edge cases. That is where research comes into place. I know I'm just stressing it a lot, but usually designers, when they're starting it out, they're just going to throw this design process away and write and jump start into Figma. So I don't want that to happen with you guys. So I'm just stressing it out. So I want to give a link to the sign-in screen too. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this, drag this below, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to have an account. Sorry, have an account, and give it, I don't want that comma, login. And I'm going to change this weight to bold, because I need it to be, and I'll just dial down this color just as the terms and condition color. Cool. Yeah. And I want to center align this. And login should look clickable, right? So I'm just going to highlight that login and then change its color to something blue. Blue, because I need to, it should look clickable. And that's it. That's it for the sign up screen. It's really easy to work with Figma. Seriously, if you know Photoshop, Figma is nothing. Figma is like very much easy, but the stuff is like that. It's not always about the tools. It's about the thinking. The design thinking is what takes time. That is why you're valued the most, not the tools master. You can become a tool master, but if you don't know how to think like a designer, it's just a complete waste. So, And I said to you, like, there is, like, we have switched all our operations from Photoshop to Figma. It is because of team collaborations. See, this is like collaboration. This is like live collaboration, which is really awesome. Collaboration, you could also press this comment button, and then you could comment like, dude, change the logo or something like that, so that the designer could change it. So yeah, this is collaboration. This is like live collaboration. So now we have okay, so now we have somewhere around like 10 to 15 minutes, so that we would have a quick like Q&A session. So if you have any questions related to UI UX design, you could just ask it. Like anything that you wanted to know more, like what and all things. Do we need to learn coding by Artbeats? No. You need not learn coding, because UI UX design is way different than front-end engineering. And nowadays, design is also getting prominence with development. So you need not do it. How to save file? Figma auto saves. That's pretty cool. Since it is an account based, it auto saves. So you need not press Ctrl S every time. So you will also have version history. We have also been posting free content on Instagram and also on other sites. Like we are also like providing free content, like providing like carousels, like how to get started with UI UX design. So if you don't know about it, just follow us. And yeah, and we also like if you found this session useful, just take a screenshot and tag us at Athar. We could also repost it. Just spread the word among your friends, so that way many people could take use of these free sessions. And we have upcoming sessions too. Like tomorrow we have a session on machine design. We have still more sessions on like Python and all. So one more UI UX session, which is going to be in depth. This is like getting started. So now in the second session, we are going to dwell deep, like how to think like a designer and all. That's going to be like huge. So yeah. Do you have any more questions? Say about job opportunities. Okay, really, like this. See, way before 2014, design was not a thing. Design was like, okay, it was like a side hobby, like graphic designing, okay. But after 2014, like when startups started to take design very seriously, this is when design industry has boomed. Like, as a UI UX designer, you could cap out at somewhere around like, the starting salary will be like 5 to 6 lakhs. You could cap out at 35 lakhs, 40 lakhs. It is just dependent upon the startup that you're working for. When is the next UI session happening? Very soon, pretty soon. We have like lined up like machine design is there, Python. Then after that, we have UI UX session. So, we are going to, what are advantages do you think Figma has over Sketch and Adobe XD? Like I said, Sketch is not free. Sketch is Mac only. So if you have Windows, you can't use Sketch. And Sketch, you need to pay like $50 per license for Sketch. Adobe XD is free. And I said Figma is file based. Sorry, it is account based. That means you could you can collaborate very easily. And you don't have that option. Like sharing the link option is not there in Adobe XD. So do you have any more question? Well, like Figma as over Sketch and Adobe XD? Okay, say about job opportunities over. Like you can also turn on your mic and talk with me. It's it's fine if you have like any questions. In the next session, we are going to talk about like more things like on material design, on like, there are some guidelines, how to think like a designer, how to write copywriting. So there are so much stuff in UI UX design. This is just a tip of an iceberg. We are just getting started. We have much more to cover. And also feedback, the greatest difference between a great designer and an average designer is feedback and mentorship. So we have a feedback form. We want your opinions on how this session went on, like what and all things that could be improvised, so that we will also improvise. And also for you guys, we are also creating some kind of a community. So this is still in development process. Like, we can also conduct design events and also build up a community. We can just live stream. You could ask feedback for us. So this is still in development. When it is happened, we are going to send you a link to your email so that you can join. For example, we are going to make a Discord server or also like a Telegram group. So we are just deciding upon that. So after finalization of that, we are going to send you links so that you can all hop into Discord and you can start asking questions, feedbacks from us. Can UI UX be designed in Illustrator? Yes, Kritika Raghuram. You can obviously design in Illustrator, but Illustrator is like far more advanced. And as I said, you need just a slice of it. Even Figma supports vector. Like if you have like if you think vector is not supported in Figma, no, Figma also supports vector. So if you don't know what is vector is, I'll just give an example. Wait, this is a PNG file. That means it has some kind of a transparency. That means if I just drag it, there is nothing in background. What is the difference between a PNG and a vector file is that if I zoom in, you see it's starting to get pixelated. This is a drawback of a PNG file. Now, if I zoom into this text field, you could see that it is still keeping sharp. That means Figma also supports vector files. And what and all things you could do in Illustrator could also be done in Figma. And like way many companies have started to switch from Illustrator to Figma. And thanks, Artbeats. It was an interesting session. Thank you. Thanks for the comment. And don't forget to fill in the feedback form. It is the link is provided in the chat. Try to utilize these free sessions. Try to send it to friends. Share it with your friends. Share it on take a screenshot and share it on Instagram. We'll also repost it. Like anything else you wanted in the session number 2, like what and all things to be added. I have a good drawing and art skills will be useful. Definitely. If you are planning on to do some illustrations, art and drawing skills are really going to it's really very important, but it's not mandatory. Like for UI design specifically, you need not have drawing and art skills, but if you have, it's an advantage. Because UI and UX design is all about making those buttons, so that doesn't require you much of artistic skills. But if you're planning on to do vector art in Illustration, vector art in Figma, drawing skills will definitely benefit. We are going to do some more sessions. Tomorrow, it's going to be on SolidWorks fundamentals. If you haven't watched the SolidWorks first session, it's on YouTube, so you can just watch it there and come back. Anyhow, we are going to give recap there too. What will be the next session will be about? Yeah, that's on Sunday, that is tomorrow, we are going to have a session on SolidWorks. Later, it's going to be on Python, and we have some more plans, and also UI UX 2 session. So we are going to dive deep into it. I can see that way many people are finding this UI UX interesting because this is very different field. This is different from engineering. Yeah, okay. There's also one more question. I'm confused to choose between animation and UI UX. Okay. Artbeats, just open up your mic, dude. It's fine. Don't feel hesitant. I'm just like your friend. Just open it, open your mic and talk.
Yeah. Hello, Kishore. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, bro. I'm good in art and drawing stuff also. But currently, I have one of my friend told that UI UX field is booming. So I just went through YouTube and searched about it, and I found it very interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, can I get more info about it?
Yeah, animation in what stuff? Is it 3D animation or 2D animation?
Both 2D and 3D.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're planning on to do it for 2D animation, you can also join the 2D animation and UI UX. That is possible. That means you could create animations in a software called as Adobe After Effects. Have you heard about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could animate. Yeah, you could animate stuff in Adobe After Effects, and then you could use something called as Lottie Files. Lottie Files is some kind of a plugin.
Okay.
It allows you to export all those animations from After Effects, and then you could use it in your UI UX design.
Okay.
For example, that Swiggy app uses school animations and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're interested, just drop it down in the feedback form so that we'll also think on how to, start animation classes.
Yeah.
If you're interested into it.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, animation takes time. Yeah. Cool. Okay, guys, that's a wrap. So hope I see you guys on the next session. So, and thank you for attending the session. Bye bye.